Reconvenience to open session. It's 5:58. F, announcement of actions taken in closed session. No action item. No actions taken. G, presentations. 1, girls volleyball team Desert League champions. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Madam President, and ladies and gentlemen of the audience, staff, Board of Trustees. It is my honor tonight and with great excitement that I present our Calexico Bulldogs girls championship team, volleyball championship team. So let's give them a round of applause. I wish I could do it like your principal, Mr. Moreno, and say something from the Chocolate Mountains to the Sea of Cortez, but I can't do him any credit, so I'm not gonna try. But board and ladies and gentlemen of our community, you know, in any sport that we play, it takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes tenacity, the mindset of never giving up, the mindset of falling down and getting yourself back up, and in a team sport, helping your teammates get themselves back up, right? And it takes a lot of discipline. It's not easy to be a successful athlete and have a successful season and a successful sports program. And so when a team is able to come together and just play the whole season and do okay and do well, that's an accomplishment in and of itself. But when a team is able to win a championship, that just takes them to another level. And so it is with our great honor that we recognize our young athletes here with us tonight, and their parents, their families, their coaches, because it's a sacrifice for everyone, a good sacrifice, a positive one, but it's a sacrifice for everyone. My kids are already adults and doing their thing, but they also went their whole entire lives playing sports, and it's, you know, driving them to practice and picking them up and going to the games and being happy when they win and being sad when they don't win, and sometimes getting upset when the call didn't go our way. So I know all the emotions that are not only experienced by the players, but that are also experienced by the families and the coaches. So without further ado, I am going to call out your names to our athletes. And when I call your name, if you could please come up to the front of the dais, and you're going to be presented with a t-shirt that says, and I'm sorry because I'm going to unfold the first one. Thank you, Janet, for helping me. That says 2024 Calexico Desert League Champions, girls volleyball with the volleyball on it. And in the back, Desert League Champions, girls volleyball with your names on it. And your coach's name on it as well. So when I call your name, please come to the front and receive this recognition. I would like to say that our girls had a perfect league season of 9-0. In total games, league and non-league, they were 20 wins and 12 losses. But during the league, they were undefeated with 9 wins and 0 losses. Desert League champs, ranked number 7 in CIF playoffs, Division 4, won their first playoff game. And Joanna Gallego was named Player of the Year, and our very own coach, Humberto Sierra, was named Coach of the Year. So let's give him a round of applause. And here we go. So I'm going to start with Naseli Hariwai. Howdy, okay. Naseli, is she here? No? Okay, Naseli will keep hers. Joanna Gallegos, Player of the Year. Julissa Luna. She's not here? Okay. Katia Ceballos. Jaceli Celayes. Okay. Cici Sierra Lugo. Isabela Esquer. Ahí viene la mamá. You know, you have to stand right here. You have to stand. We'll take pictures with the parents too. Ahorita vamos a traer todos los papás porque veo también los papás de la siguiente deportista, Miss Vanessa Legaspi. Amy Garcia. Lisa Romero. Alexa Aguilar. Emily Romero. Y por dos personas super importantes, very important people on this team, Coach Lugo y Coach Beto. Okay. So, if we could go more that way. Padres, si quieren entrar a la foto. Maybe the parents are going to have to like go on one knee on the next person. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge of our administrators as well from Calexico High School who are here supporting their girls volleyball team, and that's Mr. Mariano from Calexico High School, assistant principal. And Mr. Calexico himself, Mr. John Moreno. I tried doing from the Sea of Cortez to the Chocolate Mountains, pero como que. There you go. All right, great. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again, ladies. You represented your city, your community, your school with a lot of pride and a lot of sportsmanship, and so we're very, very proud of you guys. Keep up the great work.
Thank you for that, Mr. Jimenez. Number 2, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. So we're moving my report right this one, and then right after I do these other recognitions, we will be able to take a quick 5-minute break. You're all more than welcome to stay if you like, but we know school's tomorrow, and you could. There's a carnival going on right now, so let me get right to this. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is also a special night because one thing that's for sure in life is change. Change always happens, and tonight we're recognizing that within our school board. We recently had elections, and we want to recognize and give a fond farewell to some of our outgoing school board members, and wish lots of luck to them, and then also welcome our new school board members who will be coming in the very, very near future. Next Tuesday would be the swearing-in ceremonies here in the boardroom for them. But I wrote this out. I'm going to read it because I just didn't want to miss anything that I wanted to say. So good evening, everyone. Tonight we gather to express our heartfelt gratitude and bid a fond farewell to our outgoing school board members, Margarita Magallanes, Enrique Alvarado, Lorenzo Calderon, and Luis Pacheco, whose service to the Calexico Unified School District will leave a positive impact for generations to come. Serving on the school board is a responsibility that requires dedication, vision, and a commitment to our students, families, staff, and schools. Over the years, you have exemplified these qualities, and your leadership has brought about meaningful and lasting changes to our district. Your time on the board will be remembered for many significant accomplishments. You guided our district through one of the most challenging periods in recent history, the global COVID-19 pandemic. Your steady leadership ensured that our schools could adapt, overcome obstacles, and continue to serve our students and families during a time of unprecedented uncertainty. You championed major improvements to our school facilities, ensuring that our students and staff have safe, inspiring spaces for learning and growth, including the Margarita de Necoche Bulldog Aquatic Center, a renovated Ward Stadium, repaved parking lots, new classroom furniture, and 2 16 classroom buildings in A2 and A3, and our newest CTE and Social Studies building A4, just to name a few. You initiated the beginnings of Measure Q for a new state-of-the-art STEM buildings, student services and admin buildings, and a student cafeteria. These new learning and working environments for our students and staff are sure to be transformational to our school and educational programs and our teaching and learning process. Your guidance, leadership, and support has additionally helped improve our students' attendance rates, create a dual language program, and make our very own Robert Morales Adult School accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges for the first time in its over 100-year history. Through challenging contract negotiations, you demonstrated a commitment to fairness and collaboration, working towards solutions that support both our dedicated staff and the financial stability of the district. Your work has touched every corner of our community, leaving an indelible legacy that will benefit our students, their families, and our schools for years to come. While we will deeply miss your presence and leadership on the board, we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. We are confident that you will continue to make a positive impact wherever your paths may lead. As we wish you farewell, we also look forward to beginning a new chapter with Trustee Carlos Contreras and our 2 new board members, Ms. Fabiola Calderon and Mr. Alex Aviña, and the appointment of 2 additional board members in the very near future. Mr. Contreras, Ms. Calderon, Mr. Aviña, As your superintendent and on behalf of our staff, we look forward to a cohesive, effective, and successful governance team, and together continue the important work of ensuring excellence in education for every student in the Calexico Unified School District. To our past, current, and incoming board members, and on behalf of the entire district and community, thank you for your dedication, your hard work, and your commitment to our schools and our students. May your years of service in the Calexico Unified School District be filled with success and your legacy felt for years to come. Thank you very much. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. So at this time, I'm going to ask if Mr. Contreras could assist me in presenting plaques for our board members that state Calexico Unified School District, presented to each one of them in their name. Calexico Unified School District Board of Trustees for dedicated service to the students and staff of Calexico Unified School District and their years of service. Additionally, for Ms. Magallanes as our outgoing president every year when we do the reorganization and we select a new board president, the outgoing board president gets the gavel so that they could remember their time as a board. So tonight we're also going to present Ms. Magallanes with this plaque and the gavel. So at this time, if you'd like to be right here, if board members, when I call your name, if you could come to the front and accept your plaque, Ms. Margarita Magallanes. Mr. Enrique Alvarado. Mr. Lorenzo Calderon Jr. And Mr. Luis Pacheco.
So we're gonna go ahead and have a 5-minute break. We have pastries outside and coffee, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you everyone
Thank
for
you
being
everyone
here.
for being here.
Yeah.
Sí. We're gonna go ahead and continue our meeting. Number 3, CUSD Library Services. Mr. Jimenez?
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Elisa Ramirez and Ms. Carmina, our district librarian, to the podium for a brief presentation on our library services.
Good evening, Superintendent Jimenez, Madam President, and trustees and members of the public. Today, I have here with me Carmina Ramirez. She is one of our members of our services who oversees all of our library techs. My name is Elisa Ramirez. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. So we are going to begin with a presentation on the services that we provide for our library. So if we can go to the first slide. It's not, it was uploaded, right? No, it's attached, yeah.
You want to help them find it?
Hmm? No, because Janet was attaching it. Yeah.
You think it, no?
Do you have it, Janet? Okay. We apologize. Así se la di. Se abre. Ay, no, todo.
You want to use mine?
The screen's off. There we go.
Hey.
Yay. Next, is that connected? Okay. So here we go. So under Board Policy 6163.1, Library Media Centers, we did bring to the board this new policy back in around January, February. And so the new board policy says that before August of 31 of each school year, we have to provide our trustees and the Department of Education an update with our libraries. And so this is the first year that this is being implemented, so we were a little bit behind in the presentation, but moving forward, every year before August the 31st, we will be bringing to the board a presentation and an update on our library centers. What the report requires us to do is to explain what access our students have at the library, so what are our hours of operation, the process in which students check out books, so for our case, we use Identimetrics for checking in, checking out, and also the time that is spent with the books borrowed. Our staffing, what are our staff hours, the quality of the collection, what's our total number of books, the age and diversity, our special programs that we do around the school year, like read-alouds and book vending machines, library events, other activities, and that we will be sharing in other slides. The adequacy of our facility, our space, our size, our furniture, the types of funding that we use to support our libraries. In this case, we use LCAP, ESSER 3, CLSD grant, and then a process for challenged materials, which is a board policy that we also have in place. So the rest of the information really is it's Carmina's, because she does an amazing job and she does all the work for that she's going to be presenting to you tonight.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm very, very excited to be here and to make history tonight because it's our first report, I believe, ever for a district. So our priority as librarians is to create welcoming environments in our libraries and promote the love of reading so we can have lifelong readers, and also that is a consequence of increasing literacy in our schools. So summarizing a little bit of what we do, maybe this looks very simple, but it's a lot of work to maintain, organize, and beautiful collections at our schools, creating events for our students, making connections with books and stories and what students like to read, and of course, reading to our students. The first part of the report is access and staffing. We have one district librarian, which is myself, 11 library technicians. 5 of those technicians are full-time, and you can see their hours. They're a little bit different, but even our 6 librarians who are 6-hour employees, they also offer hours. I would say the majority, let's say half and half, they're there before school starts, during lunch, and after school, which is very important to have access to the libraries. And to ensure access, all elementary schools have schedules, designated times to visit the library. Students are able to go into libraries at any time, but classrooms themselves, they're scheduled to make sure that they have a time during the week. So all schools have that. For secondary schools, that's more flexible and varies. We try to support English learners, of course, and special ed classes, and maybe those are scheduled, but again, it's different at our secondary. Here are some of our librarians, and Ms. Noemi Lenhard is at Blanche Charles. Here is Marla Tirado from Cesar Chavez joining us today. Patty or Patricia Cervantes at Dual, Lillian Beltran at Jefferson, Jessica Ceballos at Kennedy Gardens, Lorena Bello Contreras at Maine, Marta Morales, oops, I went too fast, at Rockwood, Luis Nunez at Kiki, Denise Ramirez at Willie. And then our high school librarians, we have Hilda Iñiguez at Aurora and Marcia Lopez at Calexico High School. We do have one vacancy at CHS 9 currently. One of the things that Elisa mentioned was access, and we wanted to highlight this because the identimetric system has helped us be more efficient. What that means is that at all our sites, we have the scanner that students can use. It's a biometrics system or to identify students. So that has replaced methods that we used to have. So librarians used to spend a lot of time making library cards. Many, many years ago, they used to type every single library card. And so the practice before this was to create labels, print them out, laminate them. Sometimes they were cute, sometimes they were always cute, but cuter. And then that would take like 2 weeks. So that's a long time to open our libraries. This was the first year that libraries were open day 1 to check out books. Because libraries are open day 1, maybe for cooling zones or just to be there. But this is major. So it's this investment, I think, it's something really important. as also for access, a lot of the things, and I would say most of the things that we do are research-based. So we know that we encourage students to return books on time, but if they are late, they do not incur late fees. And this is something that it's been a policy for a while, but it's very important to know that a student can check out books, whether they owe a book or they lost a book, they can still have access to library materials and to read. This is the most exciting part of it, but I'm gonna try to be brief because I know I only have a few minutes. We were very fortunate to be part of the CSLD grant for 2 years, and during that time, we were able to focus, like structure what we do, because we've always been doing great things, but this was very related to the quality of our collection. What does that mean? How healthy, how good are our books? What do we have in our schools? Because we might have a lot of books, but are they being checked out? Are they being read? Are they modern, or they're obsolete and maybe damaged or need to be removed? So we learn all the best practices to weed out obsolete books. Of course, you can think of a book that is moldy. That has to go immediately. We're not going to question that, or if it's destroyed. We do a lot of repair too, but some books just need to go. So when you imagine a shelf of books, if that shelf is full, completely packed, our hands are bigger than our kids, so when they pull out a book, maybe 3 or 4 come out, and that is, research shows that that's not appealing. You don't want to check out a book, you don't want to look for a book. So when there's less books on a shelf, then there's more circulation. And of course, promoting diverse books was a big goal of ours. And we use different methods, we use different programs to look at what we have, what needs to go. We had excellent trainings with library experts, and we learned from authors. We went to the California State Library Association conference in those 2 years. And also we helped organize and participate in family literacy nights. The grant also allowed us to provide books for families. And really quick, on the category side, you can see how can you look at a collection? How do you know that it's good or healthy? So we look at the items, how many items do we have, how many books? That means it could also include ebooks, audiobooks, different formats. The average age, we wanted to make our age younger. Seems like books and people have those goals. But when you notice the books, it is recommended that they are no more than 15 years old. So our collections are older than that, but we did bring down those numbers. So we were very successful. We increased those numbers. We wanted to get closer to 2010. And then items per student, it varies, but it is recommended about 28 per student. Diverse titles, this is a huge, huge thing for us. We wanted about 30%. And when we say diverse, we're talking about diverse authors and stories and books that kids can connect to. And when we do that, circulation goes up. So for our elementaries in the past 2 years, we almost nearly doubled our circulation, which is amazing. And then for our secondary schools, unfortunately, we didn't have a person to help us do that at the 9th grade. So you're gonna see kind of what it looked like for other schools. We need to improve, and we're working on it. We see that diverse titles, we have good numbers, and we are working on circulation as well. But middle schools also did a great job. Let's see, for our special programs to encourage reading. So we discussed a little bit about that, and the things that we do district-wide. We read to students in classrooms, we read to students school-wide, and we hope that that reading continues outside. Book vending machines have been very exciting at every school site for students. They look forward, they talk to their friends, like what book do they want to get. It's really beautiful, and we hope that maybe that book is their first in their home library, or it expands their home library so that they continue to build that culture of reading. We have had authors visit our schools. On the right side, you see Jose Pimienta visiting Willie Moreno. Jose Pimienta visited all of our secondary schools. And then on the left side, we are part of Book Break, which is like a virtual author visit that teachers can access. They have several dates throughout the year. And we had events. This one is at CHS 9, a free book day. Students were able to get free books for their summer reading. We have different events. This one is at, I think, Cesar Chavez and Aurora, chess tournaments. We also have the Calexico Academic Literacy Letter for secondary, 9 through 12, which is if they read 10 books of their choice and they speak to their teachers about, their English teachers about this or with me, they earn their letter at the end of the school year. And finally, my last slide before I call Elisa up is the adequacy of facility space. Last year, all libraries had access to ESSER grant money to either purchase tables, chairs, or shelving. So that was another great opportunity for our libraries. Thank you.
In terms of adequacy of funding, a few years back, we did not have a district librarian, and the minute she came on board, we ensured that under the LCAP, we have funding for library activities, for books, for our book vending machines, to support literacy. Every time we have additional grants like ESSER 3 or the CLSD, we make sure that we supplement the work that we're doing with the LCAP by adding additional funds to our libraries. And then, of course, the schools do their own fundraising through the scholastic fairs that they have on a yearly basis. Some of the schools have even it twice a year. And that's how they are able to buy additional books. There is Ed Code, which we also brought to you back in January related to challenging materials. And so I know that CDE is working on guidelines for school as to what we have to do and proceed for challenging books. But we just want to make our board aware that we cannot just take a book and take it out without going through a process. And lastly, we have a lot of activities planned for this school year in terms of staff development. I know Carmina and her staff continue to attend staff development, including library expert speakers that recently came. And they also meet with the technology department for trainings. Best practices, they continue to apply research-based practices that foster a sense of belonging and increase library circulation in our libraries, such as purchasing diverse and high-interest books for our students. We want to make sure that our libraries have books that are culturally relevant, and sometimes they're hard to grab, but now we see more and more books coming out. And then to continue to implement and design time for our students to visit our library, whether it's on their own or with their classrooms. And with that, that's the end of our presentation. If you have any questions for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board, if I could just quickly mention that I spoke with Carmina last night, and she told me how nervous she was at presenting today, but I think she was tricking me because she did a great job. Thank you so much, Carmina. You did a great job.
Thank you. H, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. Number 1, Fabiola Calderon.
Good evening, Madam President Magallanes, trustees, Superintendent Jimenez, and members of the audience. I am here today to respectfully request that you partially table action item 4, specifically the approval of the salary schedule increase for confidential employees, and item 5, the approval of the salary schedule increase for classified and certificated management employees. Given that your terms are coming to a close and new board members will soon take office, I believe these decisions should be left for the incoming board. Approving these raises during this transition period would be an overstep, as it prevents the new board members who will be directly responsible for overseeing such decisions from making fully informed judgments. Additionally, I would like to express serious concern about item 6. While all CUSD employees groups are receiving a 5.1% increase in total compensation, the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, a classified position, is receiving not only a 5.1 ongoing and permanent increase to salary, but also an additional 1.33% for benefits, totaling 6.43% in total compensation. While I support fair and competitive wages, it is unethical, inappropriate, disrespectful, and questionable that the position overseeing the district's financial operations is receiving the largest share of the increase. Actions like these attract negative attention and raise concerns about transparency, which is precisely why platforms like Transparent California exist. I would also like to point out the exact recommendation language for item 4, which reads, "The Board of Education previously approved an agreement between the district and the California School Employees Association, Chapter 399, which included a 4.4% total compensation increase effective July 1, 2024. That agreement also contained a Me Too clause, meaning that if any other employee group settles for an amount higher, etc., end quote. As you know, assistant superintendents are considered an employee group, and this could lead to further complications in future salary negotiations. Therefore, I respectfully ask you to table item 6 as well, not only because your term is ending, but because additional information and clarification are necessary to ensure this decision is made appropriately. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Javier Rodriguez?
Hello, everyone. My name is Javier Rodriguez. I am ACT president and a teacher at Calexico High School. I really kind of considered whether or not I would need to speak today, but then Janet encouraged me to do so, so here I am. Thank you, Janet. I just, I'm here specifically to speak about, the vote on the salary schedule increase for ACT members or certificated staff. So one thing that I kind of mentioned the last time I spoke, which I think is important to bring up again, is history is such an important piece, to all of this, at least here in Calexico, just mainly because my entire career, we've known negotiations to be such an incredibly contentious thing. But in the last few years, it really hasn't, and I think it's important to take note of that there does seem to be a shift in how we do business. And I do want to thank the board members that are here and the ones that are not here right now as well, and even the ones that are going to be joining us very soon. Because, whether you are part of the past history or the current or the future, you hold so much of value in your hands and in your decisions. And we've spent over 2 decades fighting over things that we didn't need to fight about. And now, as we move forward and we look forward, it's starting to sound like it did at the beginning of my career when I would hear about past times, the golden era of Calexico employees at CUSD. So ahead of time, I want to thank you, for the time you're going to put in and for making the right decisions for all the employees. And for those of you that will continue or are done, thank you for what you have done. And that includes everybody, every employee, because everybody has a part in this. So when you vote later, just remember, this is to help to continue to change the culture to something more positive, and don't doubt for a second that everybody in this room has played a major role in that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for separate consideration and action.
So move. Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. J, information items. Number 2, ROP committee.
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight, this would be a task that would normally have been provided by Mr. Calderon Lencho, but today I'm going to provide some exciting points, recent activity that's been taken with our IVROP partnership. We're very grateful and feel fortunate to have the partnership of our IVROP. And some of those examples are at Willie Moreno, IVROP facilitated the process of providing a career exploration presentations to approximately 549 7th graders and 8th graders. At Aurora High School, they provided 27 students received an interview preparation workshop on how to successfully interview for the job market. On November 19th, 28 students from Mrs. Padilla's ICT class attended a field trip to iFly indoor skydiving. On November 21st, 31 students from Mrs. Pollen's AG class attended a field trip to Tom Hayes Farm, Vessi Corporation and Company. And on December 6th, our very own Calexico Academy won second place in the public service skills. This is a competition that's held throughout the Imperial Valley with our what's otherwise known as like the law enforcement pathway or the public services pathway. That doesn't only require physical agility. It's not only about jumping over a 6-foot wall or running the 1 mile and doing other physical activity types of tasks, but it also has a written component to it that tests them on different police codes and stuff like that. So we took second place in the Imperial Valley. So all this is in partnership with IVROP, and we want to thank them for their support in the Calexico Unified School District. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Number 3, board reports. These are informational reports by board members. No action is taken. Mr. Alvarado.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity that He allowed me these last 8 years. And with that, my wife and my children for being by my side during that time also as well. I also want to thank the teachers for being there also as well. My first time when I first came on board and stuff like that, and the second tenure, even though there was no endorsements, I just want to thank you guys for that also as well. CSCA members, thank you for everything also as well. Our staff, our employees, there's a lot of good things going on right now in Calexico, a lot of amazing things going on in Calexico. I don't write things on script. I usually say things from where it comes from, and that's from the bottom of my heart. Ever since I started here, I wanted Calexico to be back on, and that's one of the things that I've always said. And I think we've come a long way ever since when I first came on here to where we're at now. It's been a big jump, I could say. And I could say I'm leaving, on a high note. And not only that, to the new 2 board members that are coming on board, Ms. Sarvinia, Ms. Calderon, it is true what you said, Xavier. You guys hold a lot of power, right? And with that, there's nothing wrong with getting some type of, input from some of our subject matter experts, which are the boots on the ground, with certain things that go on and stuff like that. We don't know all the answers. We don't. I'll be the first one to say I don't know all the answers, but I'll be the first to say, you know what, I don't know them, but let me get back to you and I'll find that answer for you, right? with that said, I just want to thank everyone, and I want to congratulate our volleyball team for what they accomplished this year. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I live here in Calexico. I am not going anywhere, right? You guys will see me in the store shopping. I don't shop anywhere else when I shop groceries. Well, other than the Navy base. I go to the Navy base every now and then to shop and stuff like that. But other than that, I shop here. I live here. I pay taxes here. So you guys will be hearing from me, hopefully in a short time, within the next couple of years. But other than that, thank you guys. Have an amazing rest of the year. And congratulations to the graduates of 2025. Thank you.
Mr. Contreras?
I try to be as brief as possible. First of all, I want to thank Ms. Magallanes and Mr. Alvarado, Mr. Calderon, and Mr. Pacheco for the opportunity to serve as members of this board. I learned a lot from you guys. I hope you guys learned something from me. But I know that we worked hard at making sure the contracts that, other things that were coming into the school district, made sense, made financial sense, that it was leaving a good future for our kids. And, now we would like to welcome Mr. Aviña and Ms. Calderon, into the board and, just to keep on working on the things that are coming up. Also wanted to talk a little bit about the conference in Anaheim that we went last week. We were taking a look at a lot of the changes and a lot of the things that we are getting right. So you go to the conference, you hear the things, the changes that are happening, a lot of mental health issues, a lot, with all the rest of the schools. You're taking a look at attendance. So sometimes we could look at ourselves and think that we're in an island and it's just us going through that. And once you see what the other schools are going through, some of the changes, that they're being forced upon them by the state of California and by, changes and grants and stuff like that. We know we're in a good place. Both, I think, financially and in the area of decision making, we want to continue that, and we want to make sure that once that we maintain everything with proper fidelity, both on the budget area and on our actions. And the second thing is, we need to just make sure that we continue to work together, to make progress for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Contreras. Myself, les quiero agradecer a todos por la experiencia que cada individuo me dio. La experiencia que tuve aquí estos últimos 4 años fue enorme, fue hermosa. Nunca pensé que iba a llegar a estar en una posición así y a mi corta edad. Pero algo que les menciono a mis colegas es de que cada persona que conocí aquí me enseñó tanto, no nomás para tomar decisiones aquí, sino en mi vida personal, como mamá. Y eso lo voy a llevar mucho en mi corazón. Cuando tuve la oportunidad de estar como en entrenamientos, en conferencias, y pude conocer a las personas más personalmente, miré la pasión que tiene cada persona y me encantó. Entonces, cada vez que los miraba trabajando, estaban dando todo para el distrito. Y la oportunidad también de trabajar con personas inteligentes, apasionadas, es algo que siempre me voy a llevar. Quiero agradecer a todos por su trabajo y es todo. Feliz Navidad y próspero año nuevo. K, action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. Number 1, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Bobby Noah motivational speaker presentation for students and staff at Aurora High School.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 2, agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and Mind Research Institution for ST Math for software subscriptions for 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 3, ratification of ACT tentative agreement, salary schedule, and AB 1200 disclosure for proposed collective bargaining agreement with the Associated Calexico Teachers ACT for fiscal year 2024-2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 4, consideration of an approval of salary schedule of the CSCA bargaining unit and confidential staff.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 5, approval of salary schedule increase for classified and certificated management employees for school year 2024-2025 and approve health benefit structures as provided to benefit classified and certificated
Move
employees.
for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 6, consideration and approval of amendment to employment agreement for 1 Assistant Superintendent of Educational Service, Elisa Ramirez, 2 Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Luis de la Torre, and 3 Assistant Superintendents of Human Resources and Risk Management, Romel Guerrero, and approval of updated management salary schedule reflecting a 5.1 salary increase for assistant superintendents consistent with amendments to employment agreements. The 5.1 salary increase is a total not to exceed amount inclusive of salary and health benefits.
Move for approval with a comment.
Second.
Go ahead.
Now, upon review of the consideration of the approving item number 6, it is stipulated within the contract and listed in the item and the presentation. On the bottom line, the 5.1 salary increase is not to exceed the amount inclusive of salary and health benefits, which basically states that, you know, we're not going past the 5.1 consideration on the total amount. So it stays within the realm of the 5.1 that everybody else is receiving. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So number 6, there is a motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 7, consideration of an approval of amendment to employment agreement for Superintendent Arturo Jimenez approved by the board on May 26, 2022, as amended by the First Amendment, thereto ratify on June 29, 2023, and the Second Amendment thereto ratify on August 8, 2024, and to enter into Third Amendment to employment agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 8, approval of the first interim report for fiscal year 2024-2025. Mr. De La Torre.
Fix my color. Good evening, everyone. President Magallanes, trustees, Superintendent Jimenez, Calexico team, and community. Thank you for the opportunity to bring to you the first interim report. The California Department of Education requires us that we update our budget several times during the year after the initial adoption of the July 1st budget. As you well know, in the development of the first interim report, we're taking a look at actual expenditures from July 1st through October 31st. Therefore, the first interim report provides us with a picture in time that informs and supports the actions that we take to be able to positively impact the rest of the fiscal year. And one of the things that we always say with the first interim report is that it's an actionable time for us. And so, yes, we have several months of actual expenditures and actual revenues that we can rely on. We can use that data to better inform what we're going to be doing for the rest of the fiscal year. In preparation of this report, our team reviews actual expenditures through October 31st. As I mentioned, we identify trends, and we work with management to fine-tune the rest of that fiscal year. I would like to acknowledge tonight that we do have two key members that helped put this report together for us, and that's Mr. Cesar Sanchez, who's right here. He's our accounting supervisor, and back there is Ms. Vanessa Gonzalez. Of course, this report is only compiled with the hard work of everybody who works in the Calexico, so thank you for being here tonight. When we are putting together this report, we must also incorporate updates to the federal, state, and local funding and other assumptions and planning factors. You can see up on the screen several of those planning factors that we utilize. One of the things that's really impacting all school districts throughout California, and certainly the Calexico Unified School District, is declining enrollment and the funded ADA that we receive. And as you can see there on the bottom, for us as a district with declining enrollment, for us, it translated, if we compare to 23-24, to almost $4.6 million less than we would have received otherwise if we would have maintained the same enrollment and funded ADA numbers. The other things that we need to consider there, of course, are some of those things that are also impacting all of the school districts, and that's increasing costs. There you see, for example, CalPERS, the employment rate continues to go up. You see there that minimum wage continues to increase. And then we're also seeing, of course, inflation impact everything that we do. We see it in our lives, and we see it in every material and supply or anything that as a service that we procure. Advance the next one. There it is, thank you. What we'd like to present to you tonight is that the district's total projected revenue as of the first interim have increased and are $180,676,000. And this compared to the $166 million that we presented to you at the revised budget in September. The difference there of the $13 million is mainly due to the additional funding that the team was able to secure from Expanded Learning Program. We've also incorporated the Energy Infrastructure Modernization Project into this report. And of course, various other federal and state and local funds that the team continues to seek out. The district's total projected expenditures as of the first interim are $206 million. And this $206 million, and this is an increase of $12 million as compared to the revised budget that we presented to you in September. It's worth mentioning, of course, that these increases already include the first agreement with CSDA. We were able to incorporate that wage increase of 3.07 that was first approved back in October by the board. The other things that are that we're increasing is where we're seeing cost increases is in the SPED program, and this is throughout our school district, but also being experienced by other school districts. So we are of course continuing to project deficit spending for the fiscal year, and we must continue to work together towards reducing deficit spending. At this period, we're projecting slight improvement to deficit spending. So what does that mean? That means that we are actually reducing our deficit spending as compared to the previous report that we brought to you, which was already an improvement for the July 1st budget. So at the very bottom there, you see that we have an improvement to the deficit spending, or a reduction to the deficit spending of $905,000. During tonight's board meeting, you have approved the settlement agreements, and that fiscal impact will be fully incorporated into the second interim report. I mentioned that Vanessa and Cesar are here, and as soon as this report is approved, and if you approve it, we're going to continue to work with all of management and all of the leadership in our school district to make sure that we start working on that second interim report. We also project deficit spending for the 2 subsequent fiscal years. And this is mainly due to LCFF funding as a result of declining enrollment and chronic absenteeism, unfunded programs, and inflationary costs that we have seen and that we're seeing throughout our country, through our community. Although inflation is taming a little bit, we're still experiencing over 20% in the past 3 years. Reaping the benefits of receiving significant one-time grants that helped alleviate the overall budget has now begun to cease. However, this does not come to a surprise because those one-time funds, they were truly intended as one-time in nature and not necessarily for ongoing expenditures. We need to remain focused on why we're projecting deficit spending and be strategic and intentional on ensuring that our district's fiscal position remains strong to serve our students, support our staff, and meet all of our financial obligations. How do we balance the budget? We balance the budget by working together. We balance the budget by being strategic. Our plan on how to balance the budget didn't begin this year. This is work that everybody has been doing for the last couple of years, and I commend everyone here, our board members, for being very supportive of being strategic and make sure that we are adjusting those expenditures that we need to adjust. There on the slide, you see, of course, that we talk about adjusting staffing ratios. As we have declining enrollment, the district staff, our teachers, all of the CSEA staff, all of the support staff, they work really hard on ensuring that our students and our families feel connected to our community. And that's a way to reduce absenteeism. That's also a way to look for an opportunity to actually increase our enrollment wherever possible. If we can make Calexico continue to be a great place to study, then parents will want to move to Calexico. They will want to come and be part of our school district. And we see that there's a lot of great things that are happening. So we take a look at vacancy analysis. We take a look at maximizing the use of restricted funds. Our team works really, really hard on seeking additional federal grants or state grants or local grants. And then we look to reduce district-wide operating expenses. Some of those that I can give you as an example, the district and the team approved 8 electric buses a couple of years ago, and they're all in operation now. And so as you stand by the sidewalk and you see the bus go by, they make no noise, and that's fantastic, right? But the other thing is that there's no diesel being expended on that. Doesn't mean that we don't have any more diesel buses. Those diesel buses, of course, are needed to be able to take our students to out-of-town trips, whether it's here locally or whether it's across the town to going into San Diego or other places like that. And so we are seeing savings, of course, in diesel fuel expenditures, which was a strategic way of helping reduce our expenditures. Now, granted, we're still taking a look and we're trending to see what the expenditure is going to be for our electric bill, but we expect to achieve savings, right? And then I can tell you that in working with all of the leadership team, everybody's asking the same questions. Do we need to make that expenditure? Can we save that money? Can we strengthen our fund balances? Can we spend more money on our kids and our staff, right, by reducing those materials and supplies? So the district has been very, very intentional in ensuring that our financial position remains stable and remains strong. In closing note, if you take a look at the whole report that's in the system itself, over 140 pages, all the way at the bottom, you'll take a look and you'll see that our ending fund balances still remain strong. You will always also see that we work really, really hard to ensure that we have the correct cash flow to be able to meet all of our obligations. And our obligations are always in the priority in ensuring that we meet our payroll, that we are able to pay all of our bills, and Calexico continues to work really, really hard on ensuring that we do that and we do achieve that. So tonight, we're respectfully requesting approval of the first interim from you. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I don't have a question. Thank you, Mr. De La Torre.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by myself, second by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 9, First Amendment Agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Cone Inc. for maintenance service for additional elevator equipment in the A4 building at Calexico High School.
So moved.
Second, motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by myself. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 10, resolution approving and accepting a contract for the purchase, delivery of certain technology solutions from Dell Technologies, Dell Marketing LP.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Resolution.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Contreras. Alvarado?
Yes.
Contreras?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Number 11, certificated employment report.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 12, classified employment report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And there was actually. Yeah, we're not reconvening to closed session, but O Student Discipline and Education Code Section 48918, one action upon recommendation of student discipline case number 2425002.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 2, action upon recommendation of student discipline case 2425003.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 3, action upon recommendation of student discipline case 2425004.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. P, adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor say aye.
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 Good night.
Good night. Thank you.